Good morning. In this video, we will see about exception handling. What is exception in Java? Exceptions are the events that occur during the execution of programs which distributes the normal flow of instructions. For example, divide by zero, array as access out of bound, etc. Exception is nothing but an object which is thrown at runtime. Exception objects are the thrown and caught. Then what is meant by exception handling? Exception handling is a mechanism to handle runtime errors such as class not found exception, IO exception, SQL exception, remote exception, etc. So these are the some exception handling in Java. Then what is the main advantage of exception handling? This advantage of exception handling is to maintain the normal flow of the application. An exception normally disrupts the normal flow of application. That is why we need to handle the exception. For example, if you are having the 10 statement of Java coding, suppose if we get an exception occurs. So these are the one example for the exception, how to handle the exception handling. Suppose these are the 10 statements in a Java program and an exception occurs at statement 5. The rest of the code will not be executed. That is, the statement 6 to 10 will not be executed. However, when we perform the exception handling, the rest of the statements will be executed. That is why we use exception handling in Java. Hierarchy of Java exception classes. The java.lang.throwable class is the root class of the Java exception. The hierarchy inherited by two subclasses. One is exception and another one is error. So through the main throwable class, it is divided into exception and error. In exception, we are having IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception, runtime exception. In error, stack overflow error, virtual machine error, out of memory error. In runtime exception, we have arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, number format exception, index out of bound exception. Out of that, array index out of bounds exception, string index of string index out of bound exception. So these are the hierarchy uh, level of the exceptions which is used to indicate many different types of error conditions. We have one JVM errors and system errors. In JVM error, out of memory error, stack overflow error, linkage error, then system errors are file not found exception, IO exceptions. These are the some errors which is in program which is used in Java program. Then one more errors are there, that is the programming errors, null pointer exception, array index out of bounds exception, arithmetic exceptions. These are the some types of errors in Java program using exception handling. In exceptions, it is categorized into two ways. One is the built-in exceptions and the user-defined exceptions. Built-in exceptions are nothing but which is already predefined, which is present in the Java library, and user-defined exceptions are the user can give during the execution of the program. So in built-in exceptions, it is divided into two types. One is the checked exception and another one is the unchecked exceptions.